nice and loud. All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is the meeting of the Carver Board of Directors of the Carver COA. Posted in accordance with provisions of MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20 amended. This meeting is being cablecast by Area 58, Community Access Media Channel 15, and will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. We'll have a Pledge of Allegiance, and at the end of the pledge, I'd ask that we'd all stand for a moment of silence in remembrance of Susan Gifford, our state rep who passed away this past Tuesday.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our thoughts and prayers are with Susan's family. She served this region
20
and
years.
community for a very long time, and she'll be sorely missed. All right, first on the agenda, we have been without a vice chair since Donna resigned from the board.
I'm the secretary.
And so I want to do a reorg, and I'm also going to put up for the to vote for a new chair if you so desire, because it wouldn't hurt my feelings, but I will leave that up to you guys. So first up, can I have a nomination for chair?
I nominate Alan Dunham for chair.
I second.
Are there any more nominations?
I nominate third.
Hey, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of Alan Dunham remaining chair for a while, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. All right, now I need nomination for vice chair. It's not real hard.
I nominate Mary.
No, I nominate Pixie.
Well,
She's
then
already
someone
the
has to be secretary.
What is the difference?
Would it be possible, because I know we both have husbands with health issues, would it be possible we could be co-chairs? We did that a long time ago at the Cultural Council. Another girl and I were co-chairs.
Given the health conditions of various spouses, I personally, Glenn, would you know of anything that would preclude that? Having co-vice chairs?
I'd have to look at your bylaws to see if it's specific, but I don't think there'd be any.
I don't think there's nothing specific about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
Would you
I
be
do
willing
it
to do that,
alone.
Mary? Yeah, that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you sure? Because you,
I'm just, I just don't know a lot. I'm just learning, as Lane is.
Yeah, and none of us have been here that
So
long.
we can futz through
I
it.
was saying, I've been on shorter than you guys, and I just got stuck here. I mean, having the honor of being here.
I just don't want to push you into
Oh, no, no,
something.
no.
If you, okay,
That's
good.
All right, we have
All
a
right,
nomination
I
for,
nominate Elaine and Mary Duras, Elaine Raymond and Mary Duras as co-vice chairs of the Carver Council on Aging Board.
and since you are both involved, I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay.
Do we ever have any other nominations for maybe somebody that wants to or able to be the full-time vice chair? Hearing none. All those in favor of having Mary and Elaine share the duties of vice chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
I would have been happy to get.
So be it. And we don't have to vote on the secretary because we still, she's still here.
Maybe she doesn't want to be.
Too bad. I mean, all right, now we got that little bit of work out of the way. I would very much like to introduce Glenn Kinn, our town administrator. This is his first chance to be with the board. So he and Glenn and I had talked a couple months ago about him coming in and just talking to us for a little bit and give us his ideas and let him ask questions. So Glenn, thank you very much for coming, and you're up.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Again, my name is Glenn Cannon. I've been on the job for maybe about 6 months now. Came from the town of Rochester. I was there for 2 years, and before that, 4 years in the town of Bourne, and certainly with county government in Barnstable County for about 20 years. It's always been my pleasure to work with the COA. I find it to be a refreshing group. I'll say that much for some of the work that I do. Sometimes it's very pleasurable to be at the COA and to see the activities that are happening there. So something I enjoy very much. I felt like I've had good relationships with both towns I've worked in, the COA directors there. Again, I think it's hard not to be. The people are generally doing very good work. The volunteers there, the staff there, I think they really all have a great foresight, if you will, and vision about what they want to do. I think most people come in the door with very good intentions of helping as many people as possible. One thing I do want to say to you guys, and I try to do this as much as possible, I do want to say thank you to you for stepping up and volunteering. Every town needs volunteers to step up for boards just like this. There is so much work that needs to be done. Alan can attest to this, as former select board member. There's so much work that needs to be done, and we just couldn't do it without the volunteers. So, I certainly appreciate that. And again, I want to thank you for the stepping up. I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, I do see the COA. I know I have conversations with Connie about the facility. I think it could use some refreshing, maybe, or maybe a newer facility somewhere down the line. Something we do talk about. And I think it's appropriate to talk about in this case. I know there are challenges there, both space-wise, even the parking is very challenging. So I know there's some work to be done there, and that is something I would be looking forward to taking on. Because again, I think it is critically important for our community. So.
Ladies, I'll let you go first. Don't be shy. Speak up. He doesn't bite.
Yeah, I promise.
I growl a heck of a lot more than he does.
Well, thank you for coming and talking with us, and we appreciate anything that can be done to help the COA building. I know Connie's done a wonderful job, and there have been some improvements certainly over the years, but especially the parking now that they're making way for the pickleball court is atrocious. So I know it's hard for older people. Well, I'm old too, but people that have walking problems to have to park all the way down to the beach area.
And I'm just hoping that during budget season, et cetera, and just when you are having meetings with the selectmen and et cetera, that Council on Aging becomes top of mind, because it seems like over the past several years, there's always good intentions, but it always seems like the Council on Aging's ideas, plans, things that we want to get done seem to get pushed down, and including with the budget. So I'm just hoping you can keep it top of mind, because what's the percentage of seniors in this town, Connie?
Well, it's almost a third. The 2020 census, if it was updated to 4 years now, where we have added so many 55 and up communities into Carver, we're probably close to 4,000, and we're about at 12,000 as a population.
Thank you. So it's a big number, and every initiative always seems to be pushed aside. We did a big survey a few years back, and ideas were brought, but everything just keeps getting kind of pushed down. So if you can keep it top of mind, and hopefully one day it will become a priority with us. So.
No, I'm not.
I have nothing.
She said it all.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh, what do you got?
Okay.
Oh, I'm still waiting to get my invite. We'd have the facility feasibility study for the new EMS, COA. I mean, that was talked about back in town meeting.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, town meeting was April, May, June, July, August, September, October, with nothing, so far it's crickets.
Yeah.
And I know you have a lot going on, but the longer we wait, the longer it gets pushed down the road. That has to get done. And I'd like to know right now, when are we targeting? Are we waiting till the end of football season? Halfway through the basketball season? We're not going to wait till next spring, I hope.
I hope not. Also, we are right now in the process of trying to secure an architect for the study. So we're in contract negotiations now, and then It's with procurement also, if you ever hear that term, just signing the contract and make sure it's done correctly. So we are in those discussions. I know it has taken a while, but that is one of the priorities too of my vision. One thing I didn't get to mention, I think another priority too, and I know it's somewhat of a temporary fix, but I want to see about repaving the parking lot, maybe in the capital plan of next spring. Again, it hasn't gone through the capital committee yet, but it's something I think we need to take a look at. I see both the parking lot, the driveway, and then even down by the beach there, the parking lot's pretty rough down there. So if we could have a more comprehensive look at that, I think that's a good thing.
I agree, but, as you and I talked about before, when we're looking at, the town has land that can be used. Because people talk to me and they say, well, why about the church across the street? Because I know they're looking to sell eventually. But that wouldn't really be practical. Basically, it'd be a total overhaul, and it's pretty much of a historical building already. And they said, well, how about down across from the elementary school? Again, that would require us buying the land, even unless the church was willing to donate the property. That would require us to buy the land. However, as I told you before, we have the old fire station, we have the old EMS barn in back here, so there is a decent amount of property. And you're not gonna be able, like I told you before, with the age of that building, you're never gonna get anything done trying to rehab it. It would have to be a complete strip down, and I'd go as far as say, strip down of both buildings, and so we can make it part of the town campus. The only thing I wanna know is, do all the vehicles still refuel behind the old fire station? Or do they have gas facilities over by the town barn off of Pond Street?
Yeah, as far as I know, they still.
They're still doing it there?
They're still doing it there, behind the old fire station.
Any possibility of doing fueling over by the town barn complex with the DPW where it would make more sense? So we could pull out those tanks and that would give us even more land to be utilized for parking, new buildings and whatnot. I mean, isn't that,
I think that'd be part of the study, honestly,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah.
hence why I'm
Pushing
pushing
the
in for my
study, right?
invite to be on it.
Through you, Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
No, just to dovetail off of that, do you have any dates or anything lined up for the next
No, again,
steps?
we haven't signed the contract yet, so that's what we're in the process right now of getting that contract secured, so until I have the contract signed, I don't have any dates. I could give you there are no hard dates, that's for sure.
Good question, why not have at least a preliminary meeting of the people involved, the main people that are interested in this, to have a little sit down beforehand amongst ourselves to look at a few things that we can present to an architect, so he would have a starting place. It, just seems like waiting for an architect to even start thinking about things.
Well, I think the very first question that needs to be answered is about the old police fire station, whether or not it can actually be rehabbed or it's a complete knockdown. So I think there are just different avenues you have to go, and that's probably the very first step.
Don't trust me, huh?
I don't know, not that I don't trust you, but I think it's a whole different world if we have to rehab it, or if it's a whole different world if we're talking about knocking it down. I think it's two completely different scenarios.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
all.
Through the chair, could I just ask a question? Because I literally just came back from a feasibility study seminar that they held at the MCOA conference, so it had me thinking of questions. One of the things that was mentioned that roughly 2 years ago.
Excuse me, Connie,
Oh.
maybe you want to
Yeah, do you
get
want
up
to
there
come?
with him.
Roughly 2 years ago, the state, throughout every town, did an assessment and audit of all the municipal buildings in the town. I do recall that was done in the town of Carver. In this seminar, they said that may be a starting point for a feasibility study, that assessment that the state did. I did actually request the results of that, and I never got them from the towns, because I know the COA had been looked at. And as-
Glenn,
and-
do we know about such a study that was done by the state?
So I'm not aware of any study by the state, but I believe the town of Carver did a study of the municipal buildings some years ago, and I don't have a copy of it.
It was 2022, and according to the seminar, the state audited all town municipal, because I know it was an outside, it was not, I don't believe it was generated by the town of Carver, it was an outside
So
entity.
you'd have to, again, I'm not aware of any state
But
initiative.
we should have a relatively, like only a 2-year-old audit of the municipal buildings, and I do know it occurred because I was asking for the results of that, and I think that was kind of in the timing with Bob Fennessy joining us and maybe with Rick leaving us, or it was kind of in that time frame.
Could
So-
maybe you just
If that
kind of
could
ask a
happen. But they said that that would be a
question?
good
With it,
starting
because some what
point.
the state should know.
Yeah,
You
I
could
mean-
maybe have Elaine,
Well,
reach out.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
you have a
Dave.
contact, right? So who was,
Well, I don't have a contact, I just have what I learned in my
but
seminar.
who gave you that
Oh,
presentation?
it was an architect, EDM.
You should ask them who, because the state's a large, and like, which
Well, I can ask
department?
Dave Siedentoff, because he's in the buildings,
Okay,
and he would have been part of the
Yeah.
receipt of those.
I wouldn't put it past the state to sneak a survey in or say they did it.
well,
Oh, no, I
And
know
may
they-
never have happened.
yeah,
No, I know
I'm
they
very.
did because I was present when they came through the building, and I was hoping to get the end results of that, because I thought that would be significant to say, what are the deficits of this building that are being determined by this audit, because there are many.
I'm very suspect that the state would actually do this. I've never heard of the state walking into different, 351 towns in the Commonwealth? That sounds very odd.
I'll double check, I
Yeah.
literally put it in my notes, because that's.
I
what they
would,
said.
I would reach back to that person and ask them for clarification and find out if they can tell you which state department, because it sounds very odd to me.
But I would actually start with Dave, because I know an audit took place, whether it took place with other towns, I know an audit took place in the town of Carver. So I don't really concern
And-
myself that it went with other towns, I do know one took place.
Oh,
2 years,
okay, that's
2 years.
something that maybe you two can talk about offline, but
Sure,
maybe
sure.
touch base with Dave,
Yeah.
Glenn, just to say, Connie brought this up.
It just would be a good starting point, I think, with regard to a
Well,
feasibility
it
study.
and again, it depends on whether, everybody already is in total agreement that the current COA is totally inadequate. I mean, don't even need an architect for
But
that.
unfortunately, I did ask that question too, and they said you do actually need for a feasibility study to sort of have that take place.
Right.
But I think being armed with an audit that already took place within the last 2 years as a basis for that would help, but they said you do need to have that as part of the study.
Okay. Again,
Sure, we
sounds
can
like a
talk.
wonderful
Yeah.
discussion for you guys offline.
Yes, it does, Alan, yes, it does.
See, I still remember my chairmanship days
There
of
you
the,
go.
of the board of
You're
selectmen.
doing quite well, and I will continue to antagonize you
Oh, thank
as
you.
we did together.
Anything else? Well-
Not for the town administrator.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Again,
you.
Glenn,
It's been-
Thank you
appreciate
for
the invite.
coming. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you very
Pleasure
much.
meeting you, Lauren.
And now you're free to escape.
Have a good night.
Thank
No,
you, you too.
May I?
If you must. I mean, yes, certainly, Madam Secretary.
I just want to kind of step back for a minute on a co-vice chair in terms of following all the rules and open meeting laws and things like that. I just want us to think through, like normally when you have a chair and a vice chair, there's a lot of conversations that may take place to like set the agenda, et cetera, outside of the meeting. So I just want to make sure that we're okay, like, would you just be calling one of the vice chairs if there were questions, like, and we just want to think through how that's going to work in terms of discussions that you may have to seek
Well,
the vice chair.
I'm very much, if you've been following, how I've been doing things so far, really, I've had no discussions with anybody, and even when Donna was vice chair, I had very few
Okay.
discussions.
Okay.
She would
Right.
fire me every once in a while, an idea for
Okay.
a agenda item.
Oh, okay. So,
Right,
Yeah.
and he has told us that if we want something on the agenda, to let him know a week
Yeah.
or
To
so
shoot me,
beforehand.
text me.
All right.
But there's no discussion on anything, and then
Okay, good.
I
to
meet
the
with
agenda.
Connie the Wednesday before the week of the
Beautiful.
meeting,
Beautiful.
and we concoct our agenda, I try not to take up too much of her time, because usually she's trying to set up an
No, that's
artsy thing.
perfect, that's perfect. Just keep it in mind, like if, for any reason, that once you have 3, it's considered a quorum. That's all. And again,
If it
being
was
fairly new
right.
with the procedures.
I worked fine when we were co-chairman of the Cultural Council.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
everything, but, yeah, right, it
I'm
was only
sure, it's
2,
just
but
something that.
I don't anticipate any big,
Nah, I don't either. I don't either, but it's just, I just want to make it that we are addressing that.
right. So
Believe
note-
me, I'm
So noted.
well cognizant of that.
Thank
We've
you,
been-
Sunshine.
We've been keeping things nice and calm, and I'm going to endeavor to keep doing that.
Yeah, it's been
If
pretty
it
good.
becomes
been
non-calm,
very
I'm out of
good.
here.
Yeah, it's been, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Mary's first meeting. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, gosh, that's right, and you came back.
She came back.
All right, let's get this core values done.
Oh, yes.
I just want to remind you, last month we discussed it a little bit.
Yep.
Not
Yeah,
enough
good,
members were
good.
here. And the suggested keywords for discussion are kindness, compassion, integrity, advocacy, and dignity. And this
Do we
week-
think that we need any more words to discuss?
That's quite a few, I
No.
believe.
Well, that's why I phrased it that way. I mean, I'm open to, please sit.
My conference has me motivated now.
I think, good for
No,
you.
one of the sessions that I attended was about inclusion and just talking equity, inclusion, words that, provide that element. And a lot of representatives of the COAs, there, most of them directors, were talking about how they were changing their mission statement or, taglines for their COAs, or I think really incorporating some of those words to kind of really make sure that people feel like everyone is welcome at the COA. So I'm just throwing that out there as maybe, I don't know if some of those words may already be on that list, but as a consideration. I think our mission statement actually states that pretty clearly, and whether you wanted that to be any part of core values, that was just, it was actually part of the discussion we actually had in the seminar, that some people were saying that maybe to support their mission statement, that their core values could include the words or something along that idea. But it was just more or less of having that feeling of, just including everybody without really getting into the details of different groups or whatever, that type of thing.
No, you can, might as well just stay there, Connie. You didn't think I saw you sneaking over there, did you?
Is it more
I have
comfortable over
great
there?
peripheral vision. My, gut instinct is, I know,
Not that you need to. but
I
just-
know,
Yeah,
I know we had, everybody's buzzword,
It's the
we have to
buzzword.
have the equity
Yeah.
buzzword. I am, I'm old, I'm over 70 now, and I'm not big on buzzwords, but I mean, if that's something, if you guys want to include that or replace one of our words with that, but I think this is a fairly comprehensive list personally, but I will,
My thoughts, and
you have, yes,
Just,
I want to hear your thoughts,
I agree.
especially when you agree with me.
No, well, it's just that
Yeah.
I think just as a general, that everybody's welcome, and it's more about how we treat each person when they're at the Council on Aging. And quite frankly, the equity and inclusion, we're not involved with like equity. We're not giving out money, or, we're not hiring. So the equity,
Well, equal treatment is basically it, yeah.
but I think I
Yeah.
think that goes without being said.
Oh, good. Okay,
Don't you,
good.
treat everybody with kindness, integrity, et cetera.
Mhm.
Question,
I don't, I
You
think it's
covered?
overkill.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
getting
think
too
it's
wordy.
covered.
Yeah, it's getting too wordy. We like to keep it simple.
Yeah.
question, folks.
my
Just looking at
idea.
kindness and compassion.
Yeah, there you go.
Would that be pretty much basically the same?
The same thing.
Exact, that's
Same
what I'm
thing?
getting at,
Yeah.
yeah. It's being
Sure.
covered in the words for,
Integrity, I want to keep that in.
most
And
definitely.
I like I personally like the compassion, integrity,
Advocacy.
thank you, and dignity. And with a big stress on dignity, because every person,
And-
to me, that's even
that's
more
what I'm
important
saying,
than
right.
the equity.
Right.
Because if you're not treating people with dignity, I mean, everybody deserves dignity, no
Exactly.
matter who you are, what you are, where you are, how old you are.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, I
Um,
agree. Because you want to keep it simple. I've found that with core values and things, if it gets too wordy, it gets lost. But you should be able to say your core values in your head. And so if you start like having so many, my opinion is it kind of gets lost in the shuffle when it's kind of repetitive.
It's almost a definition of inclusion, actually.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
It really
Exactly,
is, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, Connie.
So, can I throw this out here and tell me if I'm way off base or not? But why don't we stick with what I would call the big four: integrity, compassion,
Advocacy.
thank you.
Advocacy.
What it is, what
that's
is,
a tough
but- and also we can replace that word, because that to me gets into the outreach and everything
Oh,
else.
Right,
Right.
that's the,
And the dignity.
Dignity.
With, if I had to put them in an order, I think dignity is first, then compassion, integrity, and finish off with advocacy.
Advocacy.
Anyway, and not that one is any more important than the other, but if we do those 4 words, and now we just have to flesh out how, do we need to explain the words?
I think there might be some, do you have the main sheet?
I
that
have
was
the
like
main
maybe-
sheet,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Yeah, maybe not for all of them, but for some in the sample, maybe.
when defining your values, consider being explicit about the ways you aim to disrupt if needed, rather than reinforce, like symptoms of oppression and their impacts.
On the sample sheet, was there something that defined what the words said, like,
They should be
Just a few of
defined.
them.
Yeah.
no, but I mean, I didn't bring my copies because I came
Okay.
straight from the conference.
They did only within the suggestions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and
Yeah.
the suggestions, I just didn't know if any of the words that you just described had little short definitions. What, the meaning of integrity in a very brief,
You want a Wikipedia or a Funkin' Wagnalls?
but I thought I actually had some that I thought included some of the words you said, and unfortunately, I don't have it in front of me. I just kind of see. Oops.
Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. 'Cause it's not the main sheet, it's the
Dignity.
sample sheet that I had. Oh, you don't have,
Oh,
I have
is
ones
there any
that,
more?
with the one with the list with the words underneath. I had a list of suggested words.
Dignity.
Guess I don't have that.
Oh. Do you have that?
I'm looking.
Oh, yeah, actually, can I borrow that for a second?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because that's the one I'm looking for.
Here you go, sunshine.
For example, respect, like, treat all with civility and dignity. So if you would say dignity, treat.
So we would want to,
Treat all with civility and respect.
yeah,
So that's the type of simple definition for each one of
Oh.
those
Yeah.
words.
This is the one that was important.
That's what I got. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
because I was
thought-
quicker to the table.
I thought some of those words were where those little definitions were. But I just flipped it
Yeah.
around. On respect, I just flipped it around. If we said dignity, treat all with
God
civility.
bless you.
Pleasure.
Treat all with civility and respect. That would be the definition of dignity,
Right.
in a very simplistic way.
Yes, because we
So,
want people
for-
to understand
And
easily
for-
what these mean.
Especially advocacy.
Well, advocacy, protect and champion the rights and principles of all seniors.
Okay, there you go. Oh, that was in there
Okay.
too, yes.
Yeah, change out advocacy for support,
Yeah.
dignity with respect.
Do you see?
What are you doing?
Yeah, I know what he's doing, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you do.
No, but I'm just thinking, so, when I said, yeah, so the dignity definition can be this with the word respect
Oh.
switched out, and then for support, it was advocacy.
Got it,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Okay, so dignity, treat all with civility and respect. Right?
Yeah.
And then we wanted
need to look up
support
some,
would
like you
be.
said.
Well, I'm just looking here,
advocacy would be protect and champion. Yep, and then,
Was there one for compassion?
no.
mm,
For compassion, that would be, along those lines would be, you know, for, trying to figure out how to possibly word this.
can, yeah,
For compassion, you know, understanding and accommodating every senior's physical, mental well-being.
I would just say overall well-being,
Oh, very good,
Very
overall,
good.
just to simplify it a little
Yep.
bit.
okay, what did you say?
Overall.
overall well-being.
No, but the whole sentence.
No, that's, what we just shortened it down to that.
Compassion over, overall well-being.
Oh, our expression of concern for overall
go.
well-being.
I like that.
We can
Expression,
refine it.
so that's for compassion.
Concern of our seniors, over, seniors, over, over,
Well-being.
over, what? Over being.
No,
Oh.
for
Well-being.
well-being, overall,
Overall
well-being.
well-being.
Being.
And not even having the word seniors, it's just really like the definition of compassion is,
Yeah, take
Like-
seniors out.
it should just be
Okay,
like a
so so what does it say?
simplistic. I'm trying to
I'm
find one
afraid,
online
our
here.
expression of concern of our overall well-being.
Just expression of concern for overall well-being.
For, okay,
Oh, yeah.
for overall well-being. All right, that
Okay,
sounds
so what do
great.
we got so far?
We have dignity is treat all with civility and respect.
Yeah,
Advocacy, protect and champion the rights and principles of all seniors.
yeah,
Then 3, compassion, our expression of concern.
that's dignity, right?
No, we
No.
should.
Oh, that's compassion.
No,
We
that's
just did
compassion.
Yeah, compassion, our expression of concern for overall well-being. And then 4 is going to be
Is it what was the last word?
integrity.
Integrity.
Oh,
I
integrity.
don't, but I think that we've. Did we cover that?
Well, actually, because that's, okay, so,
Again, it is-
so for words with that, with what we put the definition with, we have compassion,
Yep.
advocacy. Have we come up with one for integrity yet?
No, that's the only
No.
one we don't.
Okay, but we have dignity.
Correct. We have dignity, advocacy, and compassion solved for.
Can we change?
Do you
integrity?
think
Can
we,
we can,
can I,
I
can I
really,
throw a wrench a little bit?
no,
Okay.
no.
We did
No,
away with.
let me know when I can.
Well, I was just gonna say, do away with the integrity, because I only
Yeah.
connect. Build positive relationships and social opportunities.
Well, and that's where I was going.
Oh,
I
I
was
see.
gonna
Oh,
say
okay, I see what you're saying,
hospitality,
yeah.
but the same thing, connect, because that's the whole goal of,
So shall we do
Counselor.
that?
I think so.
Put our fourth word as connect with that definition?
Yeah, because.
I know it's cheating, but,
Well, and you're not limited to 4. If you
Yeah.
feel like that's one you would add as well, it could be 5.
But could we just put, and again, this is where I was talking about the equity and including, when there's too many words, it's just, the meaning is there. But would it make sense on dignity to just say treat all with civility, integrity, and respect, or does that not make sense? I don't think we need integrity. The wo- You just don't wanna be too wordy. What do you think, Mary?
I don't have a list, so.
Oh, well, come sit next to me.
Oh, I
You
see,
can
I
share.
sent it to you, right to your home.
I know.
I did, I mailed it to
Yeah.
everybody.
I didn't get it.
I mailed
Yeah.
it to everybody. Oh, in fact, I believe I put it in your mailbox myself.
I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Just
was-
bring your chair over.
It was like, a
So,
month-
yeah, no, I agree that we
Would
should
have been
have
about
like
a month- it
connect,
was a
or
month
like
ago,
if we
for
want
the
to
la-
change the
It was
word
a
to
while ago.
hospitality.
No,
or
it was for
just
the,
to be a
it
little
was for the
different.
July meeting.
So
It was back in July.
All right,
Probably got lost somewhere because I wasn't around.
yeah, so,
Turn your microphone around.
Hmm?
You're gonna sit there, can you turn that
Oh.
microphone around? Thank you.
Oh.
You all don't have a voice like mine that carries.
We're not loud?
yeah, so I'm agreeing, because that's where I was going when I was going to mention, should we have hospitality in there? That's kind of synonymous to connect. So if you want to keep the word connecting,
I prefer to keep the word connect personally,
then that's
as
fine.
opposed to
Yeah.
hospitality.
No, that's fine, because it's this, we're thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And should that be number one?
I don't want to get bogged down with, well, this is the most important core. Because to me, a core is a core.
That
and
is
So we
true.
have to make sure we,
That's true.
don't exclude one over the other. I like that. Can you live with those, what we've got now as your core values for your project?
All right,
Does it make sense? Because you talk
Yes.
to a lot more directors and stuff than we
No,
do.
I think those are really key ones that hit on the points that we want to make sure we're aligned with as a COA. And
Three.
I think those would be the top ones that I think I think even the seniors that come to the COA, I think those would be points that would really hit home with everyone that comes there. So I think those are all really solid choices.
All right, now for the biggie. Do I hear a motion as to what words with the definitions or expansions we've come up with do we want to have as our four core value statements for the COA?
I'll make a motion to accept as our core values the four following. 1, dignity, treat all with civility and respect. 2, advocacy, protect and champion the rights and principles of all seniors. 3, compassion, our expression of concern for overall well-being. And 4, connect, build positive relationships and social opportunities.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Here, let me get closer to the microphone in case they idly can't hear me. Any further discussion on this particular topic? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting these four core values, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Passes unanimously.
Say that 5 times fast. Unanimous.
And now we have made it so you can go ahead and reach your goal in meeting your deadline.
Yes.
Yay, team.
And thank you very, very, very much for all your contributions to the whole process. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, talking about the dates for our November and December meetings. I put this on here because the fourth Thursday in November is the 28th, which happens to also be Thanksgiving. And I'm sure we don't want to meet on Thanksgiving.
No.
So, 2 options. Option 1 is move it up by a week. Option 2 is not to have a meeting for November. But that could make complications down the road. So, can I have a recommendation of does anybody, can they deal with a meeting on November 21st?
Yes,
Right,
I can.
I can.
Yeah. Yes.
The word,
Oh, I make the motion to,
yes, I'm a smart aleck.
November 21st
At 5 PM.
at 5 PM.
I second.
And it's been seconded. We have a motion and a second to move our November meeting to the third Thursday of November, which will be the 21st. Hopefully I can make this room, it seems like this room is always available on Thursday, so 21st at 5 PM.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that one? Hearing none. All those in favor of having the November meeting on the 21st of November, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. On to December. Our options for December are.
Wait a minute, what was, okay, sorry, I was doing something else, full disclosure. Okay, November 21st,
November 21st.
Mary made motion,
Seconded by Elaine.
say aye,
We're waiting our report to catch up.
aye. Sorry,
I know it makes riveting TV.
I was focused on being a secretary.
Okay, well, this is part of secretaryship. Okay, moving on to December. All right, we can all deal with hangovers from Christmas because the fourth Thursday would be the 26th.
No,
No.
But another option is to move it to the 19th. But being that December, the further you get into the month, gets very hectic in either shopping, wrapping, cleaning for household guests.
what is the drawback of not having a meeting in December?
We get more time to get ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty hectic month.
Yeah.
I would
would-
go for that.
Because our next meeting
Just
would be the 23rd of December. Anything earth-shattering that you can think of? Now, if something were to come up earth-shattering, I could call for an emergency meeting, given as long as I have 48 hours notice to do it.
No, we should be fine.
All right, so our three options for December that we're discussing here is have it on the 26th, the day after Christmas,
Yeah,
when we're all, and that's the day everybody returns their Christmas presents. Move it to the 19th when we're all getting, last minute panicking, shopping and everything else, or to forego a meeting in December. May I hear a motion?
I move we forego the December meeting.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to forego a December meeting. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, that was a mock pin drop. Hearing none, all those in favor of foregoing a meeting in December, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it's unanimous. We will not be having a meeting in December, which will mean our next meeting will be, after November's meeting, the 19th, will be the 23rd of January. All right. Hey, we're actually getting through this quicker than I thought I would.
And it's still 5 o'clock.
Yes. All right. Director's report, Madam Director.
I apologize, I don't have printed versions of my report as my laptop is with the IT department at the moment.
Well, if you just want to hit the bullet point highlights and, not worry about,
I don't have any statistics to go
yeah,
with it.
that's fine.
And I can
You
catch
can
up.
give
with-
it to us next month.
Exactly.
Yeah, Connie, excuse me,
Yes.
could you email it to me? Because
Yes.
I usually.
You incorporate that, yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I just have the handwritten, just to go over the recap, and then I also don't have the next newsletter to be able to distribute, but I will go over the preview for November as well. For the October recap, October happened to be the Fire Safety Month. We had Assistant Deputy Fire Chief Jesse Boyle, who came out with a fire safety program for seniors. Very well attended, all sorts of information. He has done this every year, and every year there's always new information. It's amazing how much there is to educate everybody on. That was followed up with a presentation called Lives Lost and Lessons Learned about the Coconut Grove fire. Very fascinating, sad and traumatic, but it resulted not only in fire safety changes. I didn't realize how unfortunately some of the survivors, the victims, actually provided a lot of medical advances in treating burns from that very incident. So that was kind of interesting to find that out. So that was presented by Nancy Franks. We've been having a lot of her programs. And her next one, I will mention it as a preview in November as well. And they're very well attended and very popular.
Is that URNS or Y?
I'm sorry.
Nancy Burns, is it?
Oh, no, Frank's.
Frank's.
Nancy
I'm
Frank's.
sorry.
No, I was
Talked
talking about,
about Burns.
I was talking about Burns.
It's been a long day.
We also had a popular favorite is our BID registered dietitian, Marsha Richards. She always comes with a food demonstration and usually tied in with a medical health benefit that's involved. This time she prepared a gazpacho soup. A lot of people didn't even know what that was, and everyone really liked it. It's a cold soup, so it was great because she could serve it cold to everybody, and she demonstrated how easy it was to make. The Bloom bus trip that went out on the 18th of October, the Turkey train trip, really well attended. Everyone came back with rave reviews. The meal was Hart's Turkey Farm turkey dinner right on the train. The weather seemed like it was absolutely perfect, and the foliage was at its peak. So a lot of people had just really great things to say about that. We had a little Oktoberfest activity, painted beer mugs, on the 21st, which was actually following a German-themed meal that June had offered on that day, which just kind of made it, I had decorations, and just it was a fun little activity to kind of play along. I had a big mural wall hanging of the Alps to kind of give the feeling we're in Germany. That was just something to play
cool.
along, and one of our local seniors who happens to be German got a real kick out of it. That was actually, all of that was followed by a vocalist and keyboardist performance by Gina O'Donoghue, who is incredibly engaging and very animated with her, her singing and her keyboard playing, and she really gets the audience physically involved with clapping, movements. I mean, I don't think anyone realizes it, but it turns into like a movement program. They were up and dancing, doing the twist, all sorts of, fun things, just because the songs she plays are the ones that really get people up and going.
I'm sorry, I missed that. We could have
Yeah,
done it.
it was a lot of fun. Sweet Caroline and all the, singing along. Everyone sings along with the songs, which is great. So she was a lot of fun. We had local author Diane Finn just recently. She shared the origins of her latest book, which is called Legend of the Cranberry, Reimagined. Perfect timing for that. She's so interesting with all her background and the history of just this whole area in general, and the books that she's written that go along with the pilgrims and so forth. So this was a nice compliment to all of that. And she had her books available to autograph and were for sale. Still to come, we still have some events next week. We have an AARP-sponsored program called 6 Pillars of Brain Health, and that will be on Tuesday, the 29th at 1 o'clock. I actually got to meet at the conference I was at. One of the seminars was featuring this speaker forum that AARP has, that they offer so many presentations, not just to COAs, but libraries and anyone that would have them come out to do these programs. So it was really great to meet the individuals that do the speaking, and I got to meet the one that's coming out for us. So that will be great. And then we're following up, I don't know if this is a great follow-up to brain health, because we're going to have Halloween candy. On Wednesday, we're having our left, center, right game, which is a fun dice game that we play with the Halloween candy, and the seniors really enjoy that. So that's Wednesday at 12:30, shortly after lunch on that day. For the November preview, we have some, our annual event for November is our annual turkey dinner. That will be taking place on Monday, the 18th, but we'll be selling the tickets because it is a ticketed luncheon, like our specialty luncheons that we have. The tickets are $5, and they'll go on sale on Friday, November 1st. They do sell out relatively quickly, so the recommendation is to get them as soon as possible.
And that's on the, it's on the 18th?
Monday the 18th at 11:30, the regular lunchtime. But the tickets will go on sale with June in the Nutrition Center. She is going to have the tickets, and they are $5 each. Monday, November 4th is when we're going to have Nancy Franks back again, just tying in with the election theme. Her presentation is called White House Dogs. Not talking about any politicians, it's actually pets that we're talking about, which is great. A great history of there's all sorts of pets that have, strangely enough, exotic ones to very commonplace ones, but the most popular pet that's been in the White House are dogs. So she has a whole presentation on that, so that sounds pretty interesting. And I did want to make mention of Friday, November 8th, which is before the weekend, which is now kind of tied in with Veterans Day, because Veterans Day is on the Monday, the 11th. But Friday, November 8th, we'll be offering free lunch for senior veterans in recognition of Veterans Day. And we'll have the new veterans agent there to greet everybody, and so veterans, and the seniors on the whole, can meet the new veterans agent at that luncheon on that day. And because we will be closed on Veterans Day itself. Tuesday, November 26th, we'll have a presentation by Therapy Gardens. They put on a whole workshop, and this will be at 1 o'clock on the 26th, called Festive Holiday Soups. So they'll be presenting the recipes and how to prepare them, and sampling for that as well. Saturday, I'm just going right into promoting Saturday, December 7th, because that is the Friends Annual Craft Fair that will be from 10 to 3. We won't have a lot of time to promote it in our December newsletter, so it is being featured in our November newsletter. And there is an appeal for bake sale donations for that event. So they're being requested for people to drop those off the day before the craft fair and to contact. There is an email contact in the newsletter, but if anyone's interested, they can certainly call the COA and I can refer that information as needed. I did mention that I was at the conference both today and yesterday, and I just wanted to mention, I referred to the different seminars that I attended. The first one was called Navigating Feasibility Studies for Senior Center Projects. It was presented by an architect with the company called EDM. They actually do a lot specifically with senior centers, but they do buildings of all types. And they also had a director from, bless you. I believe it was the Hadley COA, I could be mistaken, but it was like more Western Massachusetts, who not only went through the process from start to finish with their senior center, maybe, I think it was like possibly 20 years ago, but now they're in the process of doing an addition, or at least a proposal for an addition, and you still have to go through a feasibility study and all of that. So she was very informative about the process, about, forming a building committee and all the things that go along with the start to finish. And so I, thought that was very timely, being that we have a feasibility study approved in the budget to have looking at both EMS and COA and the current buildings and properties, which was mentioned earlier. So that was yesterday, and the Speakers Bureau with AARP had a showcase and met the speakers for that. Another seminar was Smart Branding of your COA. It's more than just marketing and branding go hand in hand, but they're very different. So it's understanding how you are seen in the community, or are you communicating, for example, we have home delivered meals. We don't have anything on those meals maybe saying this is from the Carver COA. We should. We know it is, the recipients do, but it's like to be seen. So you realize when you put your mark on something, and then making sure your mark is recognizable and have a consistency with it too. So there was a lot of really good information that came out of that, where some things seem very common sense, but you don't really realize you're not doing it. And so that was very helpful. There was a 2-session seminar this morning that was about strengthening COAs as welcoming and inclusive. That was where that was coming in. And this was particularly put together with the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. They went through a whole survey, probably over the last 6 months, with all the different COAs in the state, trying to get feedback where everyone is. Obviously, different communities, you have the urban COAs versus very small rural COAs, and trying to get a sense of where everyone is with regard, and sometimes the needs of being able to service or provide services for a diverse clientele or population really does differ from community to community, and that's what was interesting about this survey. But they were one of the reasons they held the survey was trying to find out what the state can do to provide and actually help the COAs support whatever they need in their community. So it was great to see that EOEA is making that effort to not only provide the finances that we get through our formula grant, which is through that department, through the state, is other ways that they want to try to provide funding. So we're all for additional funding and whatever we can get. So that would be great. I did also want to mention, because I think it only was this week, that the 19-hour part-time position is now posted on the town website, and it's for the...
Oh, good. They finally got that.
so
And I was
it
going to
yeah.
ask about that.
Yes, because we finally, I got the desk. It came in damaged and had to be, it was back ordered, it came in damaged and had to be, so that was the thing. But we needed a place to put this person once we have somebody to be there. And it is a 19-hour position. It's activities coordinator / administrative assistant, because it's got a hybrid list of, and it's detailed on the website as to the responsibilities and requirements. It will also, the new position is purposely centered where you enter the building, in the space that you see right of way. That's where the desk is now placed. So hopefully, even though it will be a part-time position, there will be somebody there the majority of the time, and even in the schedule of days that there won't be a staff member there, I'm already arranging to have senior work-off individuals to actually be at that desk. Then we will have more of an official greeter that can answer questions and just be a person that you see when you walk through the door. That was just talking about the welcoming aspect, that was one of the things that was mentioned. Do you have anyone that greets them? And we don't, and we haven't had that. And I think that's something that really lacks, and it doesn't make your center very welcoming if there's not a person there to greet you. And I think a lot of people, there's a hesitancy to even maybe enter the building because you don't even know where to go. And so I think this will hopefully alleviate a lot of that. It will also give us an additional staff member who can be involved with all sorts of, signing up, registering new seniors, because that will be that introduction will be right there and can engage that person right away. I can miss a lot of people because my office is near that door, but some people enter the building and are already down in the nutrition center. Fortunately, June and Michelle are prepared with registration forms down there, and if they catch somebody, but that's not the way it should be. So I feel that this will be very beneficial, also be helpful with the activities and support with regard to programming and just all the administrative requirements that have just grown over the years. I think this will be a very helpful position there as well. And I think that's what I have so far on that.
Thank you very much. Any questions for our director?
I know last month you said you still needed 2 GATRA bus drivers. Is that
That need, I'm sorry, that need is still there. I believe Elaine with the HR resubmitted the ad. Sometimes when you resubmit it, it kind of fires up some new interest, and we're hoping that we will get that as well. I do want to, on that note, I do want to make a special thank you and recognition to our current GATRA drivers who are going above and beyond with regard to they're taking on extra shifts. They're going no pun intended, the extra mile to service the needs of all the seniors. And our Gatra dispatcher is jumping through hoops trying to get these schedules lined up where she has 2 less drivers to get this done. And the need, and it's only growing. Probably a little bit of help that took some of the edge off was trading out an 8-passenger van for the 12-passenger van, which I think I mentioned a meeting or two ago. That has allowed for just more people to be on a bus, so it helps take a little bit off. But just having drivers who normally, the schedule is a 2-day schedule, that are taking on 1 or 2 more additional days to their schedule, which, you know, isn't really part of their plan, and it is meant to be just a temporary situation, but they've done it without complaint. They've stepped right up. Even if all of a sudden they have to step in and cover for somebody else, they've been taking, you know, they'll cover those days as well. So I want to say they're just a really great group of drivers, and they know that this is a need, and they're stepping up for it. So I wanted to really thank them as well, because they've been doing this for months. So,
Definitely. So,
yeah.
anybody out there, once this makes it on YouTube, that's looking for part-time driving maybe to help our seniors that need a lift, seriously consider it. Thank you. Anything else? All right, moving on. Approval of minutes. Can I hear a motion for our minutes for our meeting of April 25th? Anybody want to?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made to what? Approve?
To approve.
Thank you.
You're
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 25th. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Now for the meetings, minutes of the meeting of May 30th, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
All right, I'll make the motion.
To,
Approve.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
See, that's what you guys get by keeping me in the right, as the chair here. I mean, I'm kind of exact. Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of meeting May 30th. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. All right, I do not believe there was any new business I didn't reasonably anticipate. What are you pointing at? My eyes are not that good.
The minutes for September 26th
Yes.
were not anticipated because I didn't have a copy of them at the time.
Oh,
We did it, so could that be included for?
I'd rather not,
Oh, okay.
We've got them, so.
because to
this is a
me,
draft.
not anticipated is something
Something different?
we really need to, attack
Oh, in that
today.
regard, okay.
Not to be fussy, but I think that's pushing the bounds a little bit.
Okay.
All right, board member comments. Mary, we're gonna start with you, because I'm looking at you.
Because you're looking at me? No, I have no more comments.
Okay, Elaine, because I
Good
want to
meeting.
skip.
I think we got a lot discussed and talked about today. Good meeting.
All right, against my better judgment. Helen, anything to say?
No, just in terms of thanking Susan Williams Gifford for all her years of service.
Yes.
We briefly mentioned it, but 20 years at the State House and being involved in all her years in Wareham, that was her hometown.
Wareham,
Yeah.
Carver, Middleborough, right? Isn't that where
Yeah,
she served?
she was a decent,
And
nice.
she supported a lot of earmarked funds
She
for the
sure did.
COA,
Did she?
Yeah.
especially, when we were trying to get support for renovations and updates. The window replacements are, the railings.
Sure.
All of the, so a lot of improvements were
Yeah.
due to her advocacy for
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
So young.
She did a
so
little
young.
lot. Now, question Area 58, is this gonna be probably posted to YouTube early next week? Like before Election Day?
So,
More than like, you don't have to give me a definite, just a more than likely.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I say about like 50-50. Probably, I'll say probably like Monday.
Oh, that would be good. So for everybody at home, remember it is voting season because we are season now instead of an election day. Early voting is available down here on the first floor of Town Hall, and that's through next week. I do not believe it's this Friday because it won't matter because you won't see it before then anyway. Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. And I'm not sure, check with the
Clerk.
town clerk.
It's posted on the front door, too.
Yeah, it's on the front. Well, I don't want them to have to drive here, get out of the car, look at the front door, then get back in.
Probably on the website.
Yeah, check out the town clerk's website, but please get out and vote. It's a very important election, as they all are. I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for, that's up to you. Just search your, feelings and who you think will be best for not only yourself, but the community and the country. So please fulfill your obligation as a citizen, not only of Carver, but of Massachusetts and of the country, to go out and vote. And with that, I will entertain a motion to,
I move that we adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning until November 19th at 5 p.m. in the same meeting room, unless I don't get it reserved in time, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.